Hey everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and I'm going to give you my review of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I'm going to be talking about what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and giving my overall opinion. Also, I'm not going to reveal any spoilers, alright? Alright, I know it's still I know the movie just came out a few days ago, so I'm not going to reveal anything that would be contrary to the plot, so you guys can enjoy the review without having to worry about those things. Alright, let's get started. Good job portraying both Bruce Wayne and Batman. I really think that it made me excited for the solo Batman movie that's going to come out soon, that Ben Affleck will apparently be directing as well as co-writing with Jeff Johns. So I'm really looking forward to that. Also Jeremy Irons as Alfred. That was also a brilliant choice. I really loved his Alfred in this movie, especially since Irons' Alfred is more hands-on. We see him pretty much throughout the movie helping Bruce with all his gadgets and stuff. I thought that was brilliant. Brilliant, rather than just the usual stuff we see Alfred do, such as cleaning the cave in Wayne Manor, or in this case, Wayne Manor is destroyed, so they're living in a lake house, and or patching Bruce up. You know, he's doing more other things. I think that's great. I really think that in a future movie, though, I would like to see Jeremy Irons as Alfred in like a more actiony sort of way, like, you know, the way that Alfred sometimes has to fight back when someone's attacking the cave. I would love to see that in a future movie, and I think Irons could definitely pull it off. So really, the Batman elements of this movie were very fantastic. They were what I consider good, especially because they were all influenced by one of the best Batman stories ever, The Dark Knight Returns. A lot of that story came to the movie with Batman's suit, his gadgets, and the armor he wears when he takes on Superman. And also Ben Affleck. Also, Batman says a line to Alfred that is a direct quote from the story where Batman talks to Superman, which is, "We are criminals. We always have been." When I heard that, I was like, "Whoa, this is brilliant." And speaking of the story, it's not just Batman, but there is one scene involving Superman that, if you've read The Dark Knight Returns before, you are immediately going to recognize what it is. All right, and speaking of which, the other titular character in this movie, Superman. While this movie isn't a direct sequel to Man of Steel, obviously because Superman is sharing the spotlight with Batman and pretty much every other element that we need to see for the Justice League movie, it doesn't leave Superman off the hook for what he did in Man of Steel, obviously, because of course Batman's planning in case he has to fight Superman, and which he does. But everyone else in the world, eventually Superman's actions are starting to. Some people are really grateful that Superman's here, but others are really against it. And ultimately, that culminates into the hearing at the Capitol, which we've seen in all the trailers of Superman entering the courtroom. Pretty much that is the one scene. Pretty much everything after that has Clark questioning whether or not he should be Superman anymore. And there's even a part in the movie where he says that Superman is nothing more than a dream of an old farmer, obviously referring to Jonathan Kent. And, okay, this is kind of a minor spoiler, but after that incident, he does kind of revert back to the way he was before the Kryptonian invasion in Man of Steel, which he kind of resumes his nomadic type of lifestyle. We see him in the mountains, and he kind of has this sort of vision of Jonathan Kent that kind of reminds him that, you know, that when you become a hero, your actions do have consequences, but it's still the right course that you need to take if you have the ability to help or make a difference. I really did like that scene, and I wish we could have gotten something like that. And maybe if we had something like that in Man of Steel, then maybe it would have been slightly more positive. I mean, I liked Man of Steel, but a lot of people didn't. So, but yeah, overall, Henry Cavill, I hope I'm saying that name right. He still delivers a very human Superman. That is probably the best way I would describe it. A Superman that still thinks of himself as a human and is still questioning whether or not how good of his actions are they still the right actions. And let's talk about our third hero of the movie, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman is awesome. The way throughout the movie, we see her as Diana Prince and how she basically is kind of living a low profile until finally there's the climactic battle with Doomsday, and she kind of realizes that, okay, I have to help these guys take out this monster. And the way she enters the battlefield, it's great. And when she enters the fight, she pretty much busts open a can of grade A, gluten-free, no GMO, whoop ass on Doomsday. I mean, it was spectacular, and I'm really looking forward to the Wonder Woman movie. I cannot wait. It's a year away. I cannot wait to see it. I mean, it is going to be awesome. Just, that's the one thing that I saw some reviews for Dawn of Justice, and the one positive thing that I think everyone's talking about that we can all agree is Wonder Woman is awesome, and we all can't wait to see her movie. And I have to agree, it is going to be great. I'm pretty sure that when we see the Wonder Woman movie, it will kind of answer some questions like, why hasn't Wonder Woman been in action since World War I? And what happened to her that kind of led her to give up on humanity, so to speak. Okay, so overall, 3 main heroes were awesome. We do get some cameos from the rest of the Justice League, sort of in the style of how Iron Man 2 teased Thor and Cap, with the hammer being found by Agent Coulson, and Tony using a prototype of Cap's shield to help with an experiment to help synthesize a new element. You know, something like not really a big deal, but like, you know, just let you know that they're here and stuff. You know, interesting enough, with all the marketing for this movie, the one out of the 3 League members that we haven't seen fully yet, Aquaman got the most attention, but he only has like a few seconds of a cameo in this movie, which I kind of admit is odd. And there is another character that has, I would say, a bigger role. Well, not a bigger role, like just a larger cameo than the others, and it is related to the vision that Batman has, which we've seen in the trailers of pretty much Wasteland, and apparently Darkseid took over and stuff. So just to show like what would happen if things did not go as planned. Okay, and also the ending of Dawn of Justice, the final fight with Doomsday, the way it ends. I really can't give anything away about it because I thought that was kind of a surprising ending, but then as I left but then after it ended in the credits rolled, by the way, there is no post-credit scene. I'm just throwing that out there. I kind of thought about like, okay, that was a good shock value, but my only problem is we know that it doesn't, but it kind of lessens the shock when you realize, you know, who's going to be in the Justice League movie. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, it was a good scene and everything, but it's not that much of a shock value. And I know it's not on the bad list, but it's more or less in between. So with that, I'm going to now talk about what I did not like about the movie. Okay, the first thing I didn't like, and this is something that I remember when it was announced, I was not happy about it, and I'm still not happy about it. Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. He is not Lex Luthor. He's not. They could have cast this character as any other billionaire supervillain in DC Comics. They could have called him Maxwell Lord or Morgan Edge, just not Lex Luthor, because he is not Lex Luthor in this movie. He's just too campy, too much like Gene Hackman's Luthor, who, by the way, I'm just going to say this right now, I'm not a fan of Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. To me, Lex Luthor is cold, calculating, planning, arrogant. Okay, well, there is some arrogance there, but just not like there's just too much showmanship too much of a showmanship of arrogance. Okay, and also the final scene where, and there is one final scene where it does kind of lead into who the big bad of Justice League, Darkseid. I just didn't. That could explain a connection between Luthor and Darkseid. I might make a spoiler video and talk about this, but really, there was only like one moment where I did almost take him seriously as Lex Luthor in the movie. Just one moment, but everything else, he just wasn't Luthor to me. He wasn't. And here's the thing, though. His character is called Lex Luthor Jr., And I was expecting that at the end of the movie, when Junior's defeated, we would get Lex Luthor Sr. returning, pretty much leaving his kid to rot in jail, saying, I gave you one job and you screwed it up. Well, not in that way, but just like, I gave you one job and you screwed it up. And it would reveal, and then we'd pan out and we'd see this guy, and we'd see Lex Luthor Sr. bald, older, and you'd immediately realize, holy crap, this is the real Lex Luthor that they're going to use as the villain. But we don't get that. And we're stuck with pretty much Mark Zucker Luthor. And I gotta be honest, I'm very disappointed in Eisenberg's Luthor. I honestly think that pretty much to me, the two main villains that I think get a bad rep or bad interpretations in movies are Doctor Doom and Lex Luthor. And those are two of my favorite comic book villains. And I just hate how they are never represented in the movies right. The only time I can ever think of a Lex Luthor in another outlet that was good was Clancy Brown's Lex Luthor in Superman the Animated Series and the Justice League Animated Series. I mean, if we got Lex Luthor more like that, then maybe this movie would have been better, okay? But they didn't, and that's why they really screwed up with one of the biggest DC supervillains. Okay, another thing that I didn't like, and this is something that everyone's been complaining about, but the story pacing. I mean, to me, Dawn of Justice, it felt like different story. It felt like 5 good ideas for movies that everyone wrote down, then just tried to mash. Then everyone just kind of like mashed them up together, trying to get them to work. And in the end, we got basically a 2.5 hour clutter of a story that immediately rushes to the final battle. Or rather, the big title fight between Batman and Superman. So yeah, so the story felt cluttered, and I think the reason behind that is just because this movie isn't supposed to be a sequel. It's not supposed to be a standalone movie. It's just supposed to be a prequel to Justice League. Pretty much, this movie was the equivalent of a 0 issue of a comic book, where you just get a prequel to the series that's going to be coming out. And so honestly, though, that was definitely one of the big things that I have to complain about with Dawn of Justice, that and Lex Luthor. Average about this movie. I pretty much felt the same way about this movie I did about the last Fantastic Four movie, and that was that it's okay, it's average, but like nothing really good. Alright, I think this movie's, and referring to what I said earlier about this being like a 0 issue of a comic book, yes, that's what I think its goal was. This movie was just basically put out to lay the foundations for the Justice League movie and all the other heroes, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Flash, just to kind of like set those guys up. Well, Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg really didn't get that much of a setup, but just kind of like letting them know that they're in the DC universe, they're going to be coming. But really, it was just to kind of like really lay the foundation for the Justice League movie, so that when you go and see it, you'll immediately think back to this movie. Now, and also, this pretty much was this movie also left the exact impression that Iron Man 2 left for me, in that we get the sort of sequel to a major hero, Superman, in this case Superman instead of Iron Man, but the character story is watered down. Main story is watered down so that we could set up the bigger superhero team. Now, I'll admit this. I did like Batman and Wonder Woman. Got me excited for their movies. So really, this movie was just kind of like a preview for all the other DC movies. Well, mainly Wonder Woman, Batman, and Justice League. So, I honestly, if I had to give it like a number rating, like out of 5 stars, I'd give it maybe, at best, a 3. And I'm being generous here. 3 out of 5 is definitely what I would consider it. I mean, if you are a fan of superhero movies and the whole world-building concept that we now have in the superhero movie industry, then I would say you would probably, there are going to be some things you'll like about it. If you aren't into this, if you're just a casual moviegoer and you're only going to see the big things, then I say skip it and just have your nerdy friends tell you what happened. So yeah, overall, Dawn of Justice, it pretty much answers the longtime fanboy dream of having Batman and Superman in a live-action movie together, but it has lack of story, a terrible Lex Luthor, but it does have awesome heroes. Did interpret some awesome heroes, so I'm looking forward to Justice. So it is having me look forward to the rest of the DC Extended Universe movies, but by itself, it doesn't hold up. Okay, so that's it for my Dawn of Justice review. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do not leave any spoilers in the comments. I think that's rude to anyone who hasn't seen the movie yet. What did you guys think of it? Let me know. Also, I'll include some links in the description to my reaction videos to Ben Affleck being cast as Batman and Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. I'll let you guys know. Although, really, the Eisenberg Luthor video is pretty much going to be the exact same thing I just said in this video. So yeah, thank you again for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber. I appreciate your support. I'm Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.